Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We have to talk about now about the principal evaluation system. So there are different components of this evaluation system. Number one is specifying evaluation system goals, defining principal effectiveness and establishing standards, securing and sustaining stakeholders, investment, and cultivating a strategic communication plan, selecting measures, determining the structure of the evaluation system, selecting and training evaluators, ensuring data integrity and transparency, and using principal evaluation results. Let's discuss in detail all these 7 components of principal evaluation system. First one is the specifying evaluation system goals. Herein, it is advised that develop a coherent and comprehensive system that support continuous improvement. Customize the systems to the needs of the state, its districts, schools, and students. Improve educational outcomes, close achievement gaps, increase equity, and improve the quality of instruction. Here, when it is written that close achievement gaps mean कि जो गैप्स हैं आपके अचीवमेंट करने के रास्ते में, उन गैप्स को फिल करें, यानी अचीवमेंट को करें. Increase equity, you know, equity is not the equally distribution of the resources among the stakeholders, but it is about the need-based distribution of the resources. Where it is needed, it should be provided. Rather, it might be the double of any of the others' share. And improve the quality of instruction. Quality of instruction means the pedagogical methodology or ways of teaching and pedagogy should be improved. Principal evaluation goals. Improve principal practice. That is the formative, not summative. कोई end of the year पे नहीं. Throughout the session, throughout the year, प्रिंसिपल की जो प्रैक्टिसेस हैं वो इम्प्रूव होनी चाहिए. प्रिंसिपल एवेल्युएशन सिस्टम प्रोवाइड credible evidence and actionable feedback on the school principal performance, which can be used by principals to improve their practice. The evaluations measure principals' effectiveness and are intended to inform professional development, improvement, and growth. So all these mixtures, all these things comprehensively make an effective and actionable practice for the principal that he or she have to carry out throughout the year. So accordingly, the credible evidence and the actionable feedback on the school principal performance also leads and guides him to make the things suitable, executable, reasonable, actionable, and performable. Resultantly, what happened? The system of school, the system of that organization towards the achievements of the students, towards the job satisfaction and motivation of the teachers, towards the trust of the vicinity on that organization and trust of the parents towards their students' achievement on the school enhances. When this has been done, then it can be considered that principals are working up to mark, and that is the ultimate goal, ultimate motive of this principal evaluation system. Informed decisions about principal competency, ये समेटिव होता है, साल में एक दफा होता है, एंड ऑफ द सिस्टम में, एंड ऑफ द ईयर में, सेशन में. Principal evaluation system provide district leaders with evidence of principal performance which can be used for decisions about job retention, advancement and compensation. Articulate state or district goals. Principal evaluation systems define state and district educational improvement priorities through the selection and weighting of competencies. Support teacher growth and evaluation. Principals can play a pivotal role in evaluating teachers and creating conditions amenable to teacher learning. Principal evaluation systems can reinforce the importance of principal's role in teacher accountability and professional learning as well as compliance with the teacher evaluation practices. So this evaluation goal of the principal is directly deals with the growth and evaluation of the teachers when they are supported by the principal towards their environment that make conducive, conducive for students to learning, then it will be much effective and have an impact on the achievement of the institution. Present a coherent vision of educator professional responsibilities. Many districts and states view principal and teacher evaluations as supporting a common set of educator knowledge, skills, and attitudes, while recognizing differences between professional classification. No doubt these differences exist on the basis of knowledge, skills, attitudes, and the professional classification. On the basis of professional classification, here are some guidelines. Guiding question for component 1A, specifying evaluation system goals. System goals and purposes are stated here. As you can see, have the goals and purposes of the evaluation system determined. इसका आप आंसर आगे देखने के लिए गाइडलाइंस क्या है ये देखने के लिए, यानी एक एवेल्यूएटर ने अगर ये देखना है कि सिस्टम के गोल और पर्पसेस जो हैं वो डिटर्मिन है कि नहीं है, तो वो कैसे देखेगा? वो इन 4 सवालों के जवाब ढूंढेगा, अगर हैं तो वो कह सकेगा कि गोल्स और पर्पसेस जो हैं सिस्टम के वो डिटर्मिन हैं. Otherwise, no. Let's discuss what are these guiding questions. First question is, what purposes will the evaluation system address? For example, improved principal practice, competency decisions, articulating state artistic goals, support teachers' evaluation, establish a coherent vision. 2. What types of effects will the improved principal evaluation system achieve? For example, improved leadership practices, school conditions, instructional quality, students' achievement. What do school principals, superintendents, and others within the state believe should be the goals of principal evaluation, and how pervasive are these goals? What educational policies, programs, and initiatives may be influenced by principal evaluation design, for example, school improvement planning, principal certification? So, answer to all these four guiding questions leads towards the decision on establishment of purpose, purposes and goals of the system. Second, goal definition. Are the goals explicit, well defined, and clearly articulated for stakeholders? To know about this, another set of four questions that guide towards the availability of explicit, well defined, and clearly articulated goals for stakeholders is: number one, to what degree are goals stated in measurable terms, for example, learning, improvement, closing achievement gaps? To what degree are goals written to represent the opinions and perspectives of multiple stakeholder groups in clear, concise language that is accessible by all? To what degree are the relationships between principal evaluation system goals clearly articulated? Are these system goals acceptable to stakeholders? If all these four questions have been addressed well in the definition of the goals, then it is stated that the goals are clearly articulated, well defined, and are explicit for the stakeholders. Then it is the best guideline towards the availability. And if somebody needs to know about the goals alignment, like have the evaluation goals been aligned to the state strategic plan, the principal evaluation system design communication plan, principal preparation or professional development initiatives, and pertinent school improvement initiatives. These are the components of goal alignment. This can be sorted out only when the three questions are well addressed. These questions guide toward the how now of the alignment of the goals. For example, number one, How can principal evaluation system goals align with other initiatives to create more coherence among human capital support system for school leaders in this state? How can principal evaluations align with teacher evaluations so that educator evaluation is more coherent and the two systems are mutually supportive? To what degree will districts have flexibility and input in the state level goals and designs? Answer of all these three questions, if is available, then it can be said that goals are aligned. Alignment of goals is available to the strategic plan, to the system design communication plan, to the professional development initiatives, and school improvement initiatives. Otherwise, there is no goal alignment with all these four activities. Defining defining principal effectiveness and establishing standards. To know about this, up to what extent principal's effectiveness is established according to the standards. It can be done through after the goals and purposes of an evaluation system are established. Districts should align goals to the principal professional standards. Districts means companies, organizations, and the higher level leaders. Here in our system, Government of Punjab education system is equivalent to the district's terminology used in United States of America. The task often begins by defining the term effective principle. Principal effectiveness focuses on principal practices and achieved outcomes. After the term effective principle has been defined, professional standards can be aligned to the definition. The existing standards may not be written in observable or measurable terms. A necessity for principal evaluation or may not cover the wide breadth of principals' work. States and districts must critically review standards to ensure that selected standards align with the definition of principal effectiveness. Essential or core standards to principals' work are addressed by the evaluation system. Standards and indicators are written in observable and measurable terms. So the guiding questions for component 1B are defining the principal effectiveness and establishing standards. Therefore, definition of effective principle is, as the state defined what constitutes an effective principle. तो ये जानने के लिए कि कब कोई प्रिंसिपल एक इफेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल कहलाता है, स्टेट ने उसके बारे में कोई डिफाइन किया है। तो ये 6 पॉइंट्स हैं जो गाइडिंग क्वेश्चन की तरह रोल प्ले करते हैं। अगर इन 6 क्वेश्चंस के आंसर यस में मिल रहे हो तो कह सकते हैं कि स्टेट ने कंस्टिट्यूट किए हैं पॉइंट्स जिनके थ्रू पता चल सकता है कि प्रिंसिपल इफेक्टिव है या नहीं है। So in this regard, the first question is the state's definition of an effective principle or highly effective principle consistent with the accepted definitions of principal effectiveness? Does the definition of principal effectiveness include language about the growth of students? Are student populations that have historically underperformed on national, state, or local tests? How, if at all, will the definition of principal effectiveness reflect differences in organizational level? The organizational level in school context are elementary, middle, and high schools. Our previous school performance is the definition of effectiveness observable and measurable. Will the definition of effectiveness account for professional practice, school performance, teacher support and performance, and community perspectives on leadership in addition to student achievement? Accordingly, the last one question in this regard is, how compatible is the definition of principal effectiveness with the state or district definition of teacher, teacher leader, or other educator effectiveness? Principal standards. It can be measured on the basis of the answer of these six questions. If answer of these guiding six questions is available, then it can be established that the state has established the principal standards in law, statute, or rules. So these six questions are: number one, has the state or district adopted principal standards? Are the state standards aligned with the definition of principal effectiveness? Which standards are considered essential and will be adopted into principal evaluation design? Are the adopted standards observable and measurable? Or will indicators need to be articulated? To what degree are principal standards accepted by professional associations, principal preparation programs, and other pertinent entities in the state? How at all the are principal standards aligned with the teacher standards so that they mutually support teacher effectiveness? Are the standards free of high inference language or jargon that makes them more prone to misinterpretation? Have indicators been developed and operationalized into at least four levels of performance? Or must the committee do this work? If answers of all these guiding questions are available, then it can be said that the state has established the principal standards legally, and the state have developed the statutes and the rules to make principal standards for evaluation. Securing the sustaining stakeholders' investment and cultivating a strategic communication plan will be discussed in the next session in detail. Up to that time, let's save the previous recording.